Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing an extreme budget challenge, and I've also got a delicious low-cost recipe that is a comfort food for at least half of the world. If you're in the United States, chances are you've never tried this recipe, but I assure you, if you're trying to eat on a budget, this is a recipe you must have. Also, at the end of the video, I'll be sharing with you a delicious Mexican snack food I discovered while shopping for this video. It's going to go down as the most interesting snack I've ever made. Recently, one of my viewers challenged me to do the $1 a day challenge, but without using any beans. Because beans are both nutritious and inexpensive, they are frequently featured on my channel. However, I do know that some of my viewers are unable to eat beans. For this challenge, I'll be using these staples from my pantry. It'll be especially hard to eat nutritiously with only $1 a day, but I'm going to do my best. And while I'm here, I'm going to pick up anything that I see that's on a terrific deal, and I've not seen avocados this low in a very long time. Some of you may remember that I said that I was slightly obsessed with these little gnomes, and I noticed that Winco had the cutest little gnomes in the Thanksgiving colors. They were so cute, and I love decorating my house for the holidays. And I really wanted this one, but I thought maybe they'll end up having these at Dollar Tree and I could pick these up for just $1. I'm definitely on a low spend month. I'm trying to budget as tight as possible, but I just thought these were really cute, so I was going to show these to you guys. And then I also noticed around the corner that they just kept continuing this theme, and I'm thinking that these gnomes must be a big seller if they're starting to go into other seasons. I wouldn't be surprised if we see these in the Easter season as well. I'd like to try something new. I haven't cooked this whole millet before, and at $1.08, that's not too bad. I've never heard of whole oats groats before, so that's kind of interesting. However, I did just use oats in one of my last videos, so I might hold off on that for now. I've been wanting to do something with polenta, but the cornmeal is quite a bit cheaper at 87 cents. So I think I'm gonna maybe pass on the grits this time. I do love grits, maybe like a ragu or something for dinner, but this is not the video for that. I did like the way that they had individual teas for 10 cents. And also they had this TVP, the textured vegetable protein, which had a lot of protein in it. However, I've never cooked with it, and I don't think this is the video for that. I noticed these duros and I was like, what the heck are those? They have 11 grams of protein in 4 of these. I did a quick Google search while I was in the store and decided to pick up a few of these to try on my own outside of the challenge. If you've never seen these cooked before, make sure you watch to the end of the video because I'll show you how this turned out, and they were quite surprising. I didn't really have any ideas this time before I came to the store. I was just looking for what is going to be the most nutritious for the least amount of money. I wanted some quinoa, but it was just too expensive. The split green peas had a ton of protein in them, but again, those are going to be in the bean family, so not allowed on this challenge. When I saw this spinach tortellini, even though it was $2.98 a pound, I knew I had to have it. Even if it was only a few, I knew that there was something that I could do with this, maybe throw it in a soup, and it would just add just a little bit of extra something to the soup. So I'm going to go ahead and try this and see how it goes. I'm also measuring the smallest potato that I could find, and that's going to be going home with me as well. I ended up measuring out 2 small bags of the tortellini. I had no idea what the price was going to come out at. I actually would have been able to purchase more food with the lower cost items, but I really just wanted the spinach tortellini for my soup. Bananas were on sale for 50 cents a pound, and this one banana was 25 cents. So if I wasn't doing the challenge, I would be tempted to just go ahead and eat the banana for breakfast, but I know that it wouldn't stick with me, and I would probably be getting hungry way before lunch rolled around. While I was shopping at Winco, I did notice that they had black beans for sale for 99 cents a pound. So I did pick up about 4 or 5 pounds of these, and I'm putting these in those containers that I'm reusing from Sam's Club. I was slightly over budget, so I do need to remove just a little bit of the brown rice to make exactly $1. I will put the price and ingredients list in the description. But before I begin, I do want to give a shout out to one of my viewers, Camelia Lacole. She did this $1 challenge over on her channel, and it was so much fun to watch someone from Texas doing the same challenge. I'll put a link to her channel in my description. And now, let's get into the challenge. These are the ingredients we have to work with. I was able to fit in both of the spinach tortellinis. They measured out at 12 cents. And then I've got my millet, 1 Aroma tomato, a small potato, a few cranberries, and a few chopped dates. So I'm not sure how that's going to turn out. It seems like we always have a carrot in these challenges, but carrots are inexpensive, so we'll go ahead and use those. However, they're not the freshest, so I'm going to place them in water until I'm ready to use. My first recipe is a comfort food that I alluded to earlier in this video. It's known by many different names and varies mostly in the toppings used, but it's a savory rice porridge flavored with chicken broth and frequently topped with meat. In Hong Kong and also in China, it's known as congee or beijiao and often has ginger and other flavorful ingredients such as pickled tofu, bamboo shoots, and duck eggs. Japan has a similar rice porridge known as kayu, and similar to other cultures, it's eaten in times of sickness and is considered the ultimate comfort food. In South Korea, rice porridge is known as juk, and it's eaten in a variety of ways. There's a vegetarian version, a seafood, lots and lots of different ingredients. Like in other countries, it is eaten by the elderly, fed to babies, and also those who are sick because it's easily digestible. It's eaten frequently for breakfast food as well as other times of the day. It is known as bubur ayam in Indonesia and frequently has shredded chicken and scallions and other toppings. The Philippine version is called lugao and is made in both savory and sweet versions. The savory versions are frequently seasoned with saffron, which gives it that beautiful yellow hue. Other ingredients include garlic, scallions, ginger, and a fresh squeeze of lime at the end. There are lots of other countries that share in the love of this dish, but today I'm going to be trying my hand at this for breakfast. I won't have the benefit of all of those toppings, but still I want to see how this turns out. I read an article about a prominent chef in LA named Tim Wong, who said when he's lazy at home and he's making his congee, he simply uses bouillon. If it's good enough for a chef, it's probably going to be good enough for me. I am a little concerned that because I'm using a long grain brown rice, that my congee won't get quite as thick and rich as it's supposed to be. I have this everything but the bagel sesame seasoning blend, and one of the main ingredients is dried garlic. So I thought I could go ahead and try to top it with that, and it would be a good substitute for the garlic topping. Oh my gosh, if you guys have never tried this before, I definitely recommend it. There's something really magical that happens to the rice as you continue to cook it. It just turns into this delicious, flavorful porridge. I can definitely see why this is so popular as a comfort food in so many different regions of the world. I did add some shredded carrots on the top as a garnish, which I'm sure you've seen me do before. Didn't add very much to the dish, obviously, but it was really the only thing I had to add any color. Everything but the bagel seasoning did add a nice bit of flavor to that. I would say overall, this is definitely a win-win. I'm excited to try this using different kinds of toppings. I can see why it's such a popular comfort food. It's kind of like here in the US, eating the chicken noodle soup. Pretty much the same thing. I did add some chopped chives as well when I got to the very end of the bowl, but I will say that kind of overpowered the dish. I did have a little bit of this left over in the pan, but my son ate all of that because he really liked this as well. For lunch, I'll be making a tortellini soup. I'm going to try this tomato chicken bouillon just because I'd like to impart some tomato into the broth, and we'll see how this works out. Since inflation has hit us, I've been stocking up on these dry herbs like the dried parsley. It's amazing how many dishes it really makes a difference on, not just in enhancing the flavor, but also visually as well. It's funny because my sons were teasing me about the amount of tortellini that I purchased, but who's laughing now because they ended up being just the perfect amount for this really large bowl of soup. It turned out perfectly. I think next time I might try it with just the vegetarian broth. I think that would be really good. But overall, this was very satisfying and filling. And now it's time for dinner, and I'm definitely hungry at this point. I'm excited about this recipe because I've loved trying new ingredients, and I've never tried the mullet. I think it's going to be a little bit like quinoa maybe, but I don't know how to cook this, so I'm just gonna double the water and see how that works. I definitely should have added more water to this. I had no idea how many parts water to the actual grain, but I will say that this had the most intoxicating scent. I just kept smelling this grain. It had this delicious nutty aroma that was more intense really than any grain I think I've ever smelled. It just was really, really delicious smelling. My fried Roma tomatoes turned out so good. I'm not sure why I haven't been eating these already. It was crispy and the juice of the tomato was so flavorful. I definitely recommend that. My millet salad was really good. There were two bad things about this salad. Number one, there wasn't enough of it. And number two, I should have added a little bit more water to the grain as I was cooking it. The good thing about it was I love the acidity in the tomatoes, the crunch of the carrots, along with the sweet of those dates and cranberries. It was a great mix. I can't wait to make this again. I do want to try playing around with it though, because I do need to learn how to cook it a little bit better. This meal was not quite enough food for me. And now, before we get to the last dish of this video, I wanted to share with you a gift that one of my viewers sent to me. It's funny that we are doing a no bean budget challenge, and I just happened to receive this gift from a viewer, and I do want to say thank you very much. I was so excited when I got this. It came with a variety pack of beans, a Mayakoba, which I have tried once before. They are delicious. I'm excited to try these again. It also came with a pack of garbanzo beans, which I do love as well. They sent me their Marcella bean, which is an Italian heirloom thin-skin cannellini bean. They also sent a package of pinto beans. I'm reading through all of this, and what I realize is whoever sent this to me loves beans as much as I do. So I'm definitely going to enjoy trying these different beans and seeing how they are. It's sad because a lot of people aren't able to eat these. So unfortunately, that's why I did this video, is to try to come up with some options. And I think rice and grains are a great option. They obviously don't have the nutrition that beans do, but they go a long way to helping to create a very low budget menu. That's pretty good. There's something about the mixture of the hot sauce, the lime juice, along with the salt and the crispy texture that really works together. It's a little surprising how much these swell up. I still had quite a few left in my bag, and I decided I wanted to try these with a little tapatio, and it was definitely more my jam. It's a little bit spicier than the other one, and it just was the best combination for me. I love these. Anyway, I hope you guys like this video. If you like this kind of content and you haven't subscribed already, I hope you will consider doing so. If you do hit the like button, it helps to support my channel and enables me to create more content for you. That's it, guys. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.